What's up, everybody? I just wanted to thank you for watching today. This one was a little vulnerable, but hope you enjoy it.
Peace.
Welcome to the Thrive With Us podcast. I am Nick Jones.
I'm Nicole.
We own a couple of auto shops and like to talk about crap. So here we are. This podcast is sponsored by Ralph's Crispy Crunchy Chicken, home of the crispiest
Three-piece
chicken tenders.
tendy.
It's also imaginary, so don't go looking for it. Anywho, today we're gonna just talk about stuff. Yeah,
Good stuff. The good stuff, the bad
see what
stuff.
comes out.
All the stuff.
What's up?
What did we talk about last episode? I'm drawing a blank.
I have no idea. I could tell you.
I'm probably going to end up talking about the same topic.
I spent 10 hours editing it, and I still don't remember what it was about.
Doing hard things.
Doing
Damn,
hard things.
I was gonna talk.
No, it was imposter syndrome. You're wrong. Gotcha.
Wait, did we do hard things already?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
That's your favorite.
I know. That's just like my life's purpose is to overcome that and show people that it's so empowering, and it's literally the way to life. Just
it is the way.
Going right towards the discomfort and fear. So today, Nick, what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about what you've done this week, Nicole. What have you done this week? You like
This
that?
week has been a blur.
I totally reverted
Don't
that on you.
be putting that on me. All right, what are we talking about?
Well, for me, okay, so I'll just kind of update what I've been doing. I got a new water bottle. If you can see it, awesome. If you can't, it's a cool plastic water bottle made by Nalgene, which apparently is a very well-renowned brand. But anywho,
We're getting canceled.
I also started 75 Hard at the beginning of the week. I've done it before. It's a challenge, basically. 2 45-minute workouts a day. One is outdoors. They have to be 3 hours apart. 1 gallon of water, read 10 pages of a book, take a progress photo, and there's one other thing that I'm forgetting. But
No alcohol.
No alcohol.
Yeah.
That's why. And no cheat meals, which I was already doing that. Nicole and I went vegan like 2 months ago, so I love it, weirdly enough. But that's been cool. I also totally forgot to press record. But that should still be fine. It's okay.
So on the topic of, I want to ask you why you did 75 hard, and with that, I think a great topic for this conversation today is the power of transparency and being vulnerable.
Oh, you're gonna call me out.
So why did you decide that 75 hard was your next venture in life? You've done it once before, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So what was that like deciding factor in your head?
Depression. If we're being honest.
Yeah. That's transparent right there.
That's
like
what you
literally
wanted out of me.
That's
you
literally.
knew that was the fucking
I
elephant
didn't know
in the
what
room.
you were gonna say.
You thought I was gonna lie? I don't lie.
No, but I honestly didn't know if that was the
Yeah, I mean,
true moment of like, okay,
contrary to popular belief, owning your own business is a real motherfucker. As is owning it with your spouse. We've learned a lot. We've come a long way, but boy, do I struggle hardcore with some depression.
And if you don't mind me adding, your diagnosis and being on medications and the affect your hormones.
You're just going right for it.
There's a lot going on for you.
Yeah. So, for those that don't know, since Nicole has hinted at things, I wanted to do an episode on it. But in 2020, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, which put my life into perspective. You might notice that I'm a pretty grateful person, and there's a reason why. It's because life made me that way. That's why I always tell people you can either be grateful or let life make you grateful, Don't do the second one. Luckily, when I got diagnosed, it was very scary. I didn't know I actually have a racquetball-sized tumor behind my eyes, or did.
Still there.
Yeah.
Shrunk.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, it was shrinkable with medication, but at that moment in my life, I thought I was going to die within 6 months. Not a lot of people get to sit in a doctor's office and get told that and, look at an MRI of your own head and go, oh, shit. Like, and then they, see, basically, I remember the words racquetball so vividly because that's what he said, but.
And the word lesion.
Yeah, he kept saying lesion.
And I'm just thinking like cut.
Me too.
There's a cut
I didn't know what
somewhere.
a lesion was. Yeah, lesion is a tumor. That's a nice way for a doctor to tell you you're fucked. But not always. But yeah, so in 2020, I'm going to make a pretty long story short, but I started losing vision out of my left eye, or I didn't even know I was losing vision. I started thinking I had bad vision. Went through a plethora of different doctors and things. Didn't put two and two together that I was also struggling with like jaw type of pain. I thought I had TMJ at one point. It's just side story. I kept dealing with these headaches, and so I went into the urgent care place, and they were like, well, let's look in your ears. So they're like, look in my ears. And this lady, like, they cleaned my ears out and like shit came out. It was weird, right? But pieces of pen and stuff. And she's like struggling this whole time to clean my ears because like I'm obviously a mechanic by trade, so my ears aren't the cleanest. Like they got dirt and shit in there. I don't know what else. And I remember like this blue piece came out, and she's like, "Yep, that was it. That should be good."
Like that was causing your headache.
Yeah, like that was it. I was so stoked. But then they diagnosed me with TMJ, which is like a mandible jaw something or other. It's basically where you clench a lot. And thought that was it. And then actually that was quite a bit before I started losing my vision. And
yeah, but you were getting like pretty bad headaches, huh?
Yeah, I've always had headaches, which is super weird.
Yeah, I remember years before you would like, if like the dogs would get in a fight or like something, just like
ice pick headaches.
Yeah. You would like jump up and like get this like rush, you'd be like, oh my God, my head, just for like a minute, like 30 seconds.
Everyone's
maybe.
going to be fucking paranoid listening to this now.
I know.
I have headaches. I have a brain tumor.
And like you did used to say that, like, God, I feel like I have a brain tumor or something like that, like, and my friend,
That's mom. Thanks,
when
Mom.
you were diagnosed, my friend was like, that's so weird because he always used to say that, you know?
You know how like, you always give the advice you need to hear yourself. My mom's always like, don't Google anything, but she's the first one to do that. But yeah, so I not lost it, but I was like having vision trouble. Long story short, I go into the optometrist like 5 times. No one can figure anything out. And I thought I had a dry eye or something. Then the last time I went in there, they did some weird test where I clicked this button and looked at this light, and he shows me a picture of my eye, and he like cuts it in half, and he's like, you can't see anything past here. And he just blacks the whole side of my eye out. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And he proceeded to show me how like your optic nerves actually run to the back of your head. Like if you're looking from the top of your head, they run like to the back. And
oh crap.
Sorry, we had the Alexa playing in the back. But your optic nerves run to the back of your head. So he shows me this picture, and he's like, yeah, so a lesion here will cause that. And he was really...
The eye doctor was saying that?
Yeah, Didn't know what lesion meant. I could tell he's concerned. I can read people. That's what I'm good at. And I'm like, he seems concerned. Like, he wants me to go do an MRI. So I do an MRI, and then about...
Yeah, they like get you an ASAP,
Yeah,
right?
I got an MRI like 2 days later, one day later. I don't remember. It's all kind of blurry. And then, basically went in the MRI. Never had an MRI before. I've been a healthy adult up until this point. Like nothing really wrong with me. Broken arm when I was younger, and then I got that MRI, and I remember about 30 minutes later, I'm getting a call from my doctor's office. Hey, can you come in tomorrow at 2? I'm like, yeah. And I remember, if I could tell you the worst part of my life, that night was the worst.
And didn't he say, like, I think he precursored, like, if you don't hear from me, because like sometimes when you do an MRI, it takes a while to get your results.
Yeah.
For them to call you in.
When I scheduled, to backtrack, when I scheduled the MRI, because my optometrist or ophthalmologist, whatever you call him, sent me to the doctor. The doctor was like, yeah, and if you don't hear from me, that's a good sign. If you hear from me quick, be worried. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And of course, he calls me 30 minutes later. So,
to get you in the next day, the next afternoon.
That whole day was so bad.
Yeah.
I want to throw up just thinking about it.
Yeah. And also to add, at the time, we had a service advisor the service advisor in our auto repair shop runs like the front counter, talks to all the customer, presents all the estimates. He moved away, or no, he didn't move away. He quit. Sorry.
He hurt his knee.
No. Wait, hold on. No, I'm talking Ryan. Ryan was with us for a while. He ended up leaving. We found a replacement, and he was with us 3 weeks, and then he kind of just went MIA on us.
That got so weird.
Something happened to his knee, whatever.
Yeah, quotes.
So then just like, it was just out of nowhere. So there was a period of time that went by where you and I were running the front together. And it was that day where, we were running the front, and he was like, yeah, be here at 2. And so we closed lunch down. We closed the shop down for lunch or whenever it was, and that's when we went to the doctor to get the results.
Yeah. And that's when he told me I had a racquetball behind my eyes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck. Everything went blurry at that point. It's really hard to actually talk about, because I'm one of those people who, when
suppress it a little bit.
I found when some people go through trauma, they remember every little thing, and some people can't remember anything, and I'm one of those people who can't remember shit. I just remember everything came in line for me at that point. And so man, that moment was really, really life changing. There's certain moments in your life when your life just changes forever. Mm-hmm. And you don't know when they're coming, right? Mm-hmm. But you can either take it and you can use it as your complete identity and make it the reason that you don't do anything, or you can do the opposite.
Let it control you.
And you have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be able to get through this, but honestly, all I remember was, and for anyone who has gone through that, I applaud you, because, or anything like it. I mean, I think as humans, we all do. I don't think I'm unique in that, but maybe it's a little different. But it was one of the most important moments of my life, and one of the most powerful moments. And also, I didn't realize that, like, you would think at that moment I would be worried about myself, but I wasn't at all. And that was really interesting to me. I remember reflecting on that for a while after. I didn't think about myself at all. I wasn't scared. Isn't that weird? You would think you'd be terrified. I really don't think I was. I was more like saddened that I was like gonna hurt other people's feelings. It's a fucking weird thing, but
I think that you probably like maybe entered like this survival mode where you like
I really
instinctually
didn't think this podcast was going down this route. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't either when I said transparency, which it does line up with that. I was thinking of more of like starting 75 hard and like the power of transparency.
It's something I really want to share anyways, as much as I try to keep it to myself. I don't think that's a very good idea, honestly. And I think that, everyone can look like everyone looks from the outside. God dang it. Why'd you do this to me? Everyone looks from the outside and thinks that everything's so fucking easy, including me. I look at other people, I do it too. And this
I
is
catch myself all the time.
Yeah, you're like, oh, they didn't blank. They didn't live in a hotel for you, or they didn't get diagnosed with a brain tumor when they were 28, or whatever. Everyone's got something there. We've all seen the quote, like, everyone's going through something, so be kind. I fucking believe that so heavily in my heart. because in that moment, like, everything came in line for me. It's super weird. Like, I always joke with our team about how I used to be an asshole. Not like an asshole like to people, but just like an asshole in general. Like, the other day, one of my things popped up, and it was like, I love when people suck. And don't get me wrong, I still hate people sometimes.
Like that. Yeah.
But there's a sense of connectedness you get when you're about to die. Guess what? We all avoid it. But for me, it was the greatest moment of my life, literally. And I've read quite a few books since then. And I don't remember what book it was, but they were talking about how they worked in a hospital, and it was one of the happiest places they'd been, because there's a sense of freedom when there's nothing else to be afraid of, and it aligns everything together, right? If I'm not afraid of death, I've fucking looked death right in the face. I was, and it may have just been mentally, people have been way closer to death, really, but mentally, I was gonna die, and it's not scary anymore to me. So when I'm gonna get mad at, you or someone on our team or the fucking person driving me in front of the road, it's really easy to be like, I got a second chance. I was sitting in the doctor's office. You were bawling, crying. And
during COVID, so our COVID masks were on.
Yeah,
just
and like
suffocating
and even
us.
at that moment, you're like trying to hold in your emotions because we're taught that emotions are sad and terrible, and like you're like, yeah, that's good. No, yeah, we'll take that on. You're like trying to hold this shit in, but at that point, you just let it go.
Nothing can control it in that moment. Yeah,
and yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Just bringing me back there. I'm really trying not to start really crying at this point. And I just remember after that, we had to go back to the shop because life still keeps going. And
yeah, we were the only ones in the office
with our people, and I told them, and I'm sure they were like, "Holy shit."
Well, everyone was like, how did it go when we were just quiet, trying to hold in our tears?
Yeah.
And my sister's boyfriend was like sitting in front of the shop, like waiting to go in for his appointment. And he's like, hey, what's going on? Like, and we just
how do you break that?
Couldn't talk.
Hey, just got diagnosed with a brain tumor. How's your Mazda doing?
Yeah.
And I'm such an empath that I feel weird saying it around people because I know it makes people uncomfortable, right? But so how we got back to this, we started off and then Nicole drug me into my own.
Hey, I didn't drag you anywhere.
I know. I'm just kidding. I like to blame you. I'm sorry. I'm faulted for that. So I have what's called a prolactinoma. And so it's typically a very small tumor. They're usually like 5 millimeters. Mine was 4.3 centimeters, which is over an inch large. Didn't realize how big 4.3 centimeters is until you measure that out. I have a macroprolactinoma. It's really rare in males. It's mostly in females. Long story short, it crushes your pituitary gland and screws up all your hormones. I gotta stop swearing. Maybe I don't. I don't know. If you watch this, I'm sorry. I swear. I don't mean anything by it. It's just the way my brain thinks. I'm an intense thinker. So, it screws up your hormones, your pituitary gland. I have all sorts of hormonal problems. So what ends up happening is, and I don't know if this is because of that or whatever, but I can be a very dark human. Very, very dark. And it's really, really tough to get out of. And I think anyone can relate. I mean, all humans go through ups and downs, and mine just get really down. And it's, I don't even know how to describe it. But so that's why I started 75 Hard, was because I noticed myself slipping. I have been given medication for this before in the past. I don't like it. I don't like SSRIs, Zoloft, Wellbutrin, all that crap. I don't like not feeling. However, I've read a lot of books on dopamine. and I don't want to get into the science behind what I have, but it affects dopamine. I take in dopamine medications, and long story short, the best thing I found is putting myself through physical pain. That's good for you, because you can go to physical pain that isn't good for you, and obviously I would not want to choose that.
You want the kind that like benefits your entire being.
But what is the difference between, say, when you're a 250-pound male and you run compared to like, cutting your body, or, it's literally the same thing except the outcome's better if you do running.
Yeah.
And that's not to say like if someone's gone through that, I'm not listen, humans are complex individuals that have things I will never understand, and everyone feels differently and experiences life differently. So I am the least judgmental on any of that. But in my opinion, running or just physical activity will deaden the symptoms of that heavily. Do they get gone? Ask Nicole.
I think it's just a tool. It doesn't cure anything in
Neither
perpetuity.
does the medicine, though, right?
Yeah.
They'll just keep, and that's what happened to me. Is like, on another note, they just and I loved my doctor. He moved away because he got sick of the industry, but he just gave me like he'd just keep fucking giving them to me. Oh, this one doesn't work. Try this one, and you got to slowly taper off this one. And then I got off one, and it was like making my fucking head twitch, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like something ain't right here, right? So I'm like, okay, well, the easier option is it's not easier. It's actually a bit harder, is to just physically exercise and eat right. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm always so big on, I'm not a skinnier person, but I eat fairly healthy as much as I can, and it really does make a difference. So that's kind of been my, I forgot how this all started at this point.
I asked you why you did 75 hard, why you decided to do it.
I went into the long version.
I think too, the power of 75 hard, which brings you to that, peak state, fulfilling like self that isn't so dark, is from my experience, because I've done 75 hard twice, the structure that it provides you. And then the consistent every day for 75 hard.
75 days.
For 75 days. I knew that sounded weird. Doing exactly what you told yourself you were going to do.
Every
single day for 75 days.
And for me, it's the challenge too, because I'm inherently...
And it's really hard.
I used to think I wasn't competitive. But then I learned there's also this difference. There's a nugget here. So... there's a difference between competitiveness and like, God, now I lost the word, like, insecurities, right? Because like I would look when I went to school, like there was kids that just like, oh, I'm gonna win at the football game. I never felt like that.
Prove yourself.
Mm-hmm. But like the competitiveness in me is more, I really, it's not that I don't like losing. I just really like to win. I can lose just fine, but I really like winning way more than I don't like losing, if that makes sense.
I love
it's not that I'm
a
afraid.
good challenge.
It's not that I'm afraid, like, because I've lost. Oh my God. You want to talk about losses? We can start a whole other 5-hour-long podcast, but I just really like to win. And so when 75 hard comes out, you're like, or when you agree to it, and like over the weekend, I'm like, fuck, do I want to do it? Do I not? It's like, if I agree to it, I'm going to do it. The first time I did it, I didn't lose, and I'm not afraid to lose. I might lose or fail this time, not lose, win, lose. And I'm okay with that. That's something I've had to work on a lot, but an insecure person will never start because they're afraid to fail. And I am not afraid to fail. I just really like winning.
Mm-hmm. And that was me the first year I did 75 hard. I didn't really share with anyone that I was doing it. I never posted. I don't think I posted it once on
because that makes it real, right?
Because then if I failed, everyone would know. And like, and also like it's almost like I knew that if I posted it, I would like have no, you know, like because the people pleaser in me, like I had no other, I couldn't back out if I wanted. I never backed out because I did it for myself, but like I definitely went through a phase where I was like, I'm just going to keep it on the down low, you know?
I mean, anytime you want something, say it out loud, write it down. It makes it, I mean, I think there's some
I didn't want to do that because then if I did fail, they would all know, you know? And that for me was like, oh, I can't do that.
It just goes with goals too. Sometimes I'll just put shit out there even though I have no idea how it's going to go. And and I do love actually, I love posting when I do like run or exercise or whatever, because for me, I love seeing that kind of stuff on my social media because it's like you are what you eat mentally, visually, right? So if you constantly see it, it's going to inspire you to want to do stuff like that. However, I had to like make sure a few months ago, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm not like, I'm doing this for myself. Like I don't need to do it to please anyone else. I'm doing this solely for myself. And I want to do like the discretionary effort. Like I'm going to do all this without anyone needing to see any of it, you know? So there's that piece too, you know? Always. Yeah. Yep. And, I just love 75 hard. It seems so impossible, but it's really not. You can walk one of the, like today I ran in the morning, but I've been fucking struggling with shin splints. And if anyone wants to, I make a reel every day. That's part of my 75 hard. I added a little fun part because I'm trying to get better at video editing and stuff. Because I think that I think a lot of people need the inspiration or hopefully can relate to what I put out there. That's what I hope. It's not to look any sort of way. I love the satisfaction of being able to look back to and see what you did. Because last time I did it, I posted a lot of stories, but I wanted to keep it so I can look back for my own inspiration for those depressed times. But
yeah. A tool to use for when you're struggling.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Today has been a rough day, though. Honestly, it's very. I just want to speak on that because I feel like a lot of people think that it's scary, or that maybe it's embarrassing. For me, that's how I feel. Or I feel like I don't want to get any attention, right? Like, I'm no different than anyone else, but it's okay. I'm okay with that. I have to work on that. But
yeah.
Everyone's struggling with something, you know. I know that. You know that. You always hear people's stories and then you're like, wow, I never thought they blank, you know. The human consciousness is insane.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a beautiful place, but also a dark, scary place too.
Yeah. I just get into this mode where my brain can't see any positive at all. It's like hell.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's hard because like you do struggle with like the medication that you're on and like hormonal imbalance. I'm sure you struggle with identifying what triggers.
Oh boy. I find it all the time. I don't, you know, because it's so easy, and I would be lying if I said I don't. It's so easy to go, oh, I feel depressed because I changed my medicine. So it's like, that's who I am now. Oh, I'm a little overweight.
Succumbing to it.
Because my hormones are messed up. I can't lose weight now. So then what that makes you want to do inherently is to quit because you have something stacked against you. Guess what? There is always something stacked against you. Everyone has something stacked against them. Guess what? Be okay with it and move forward. Whatever that is. And it's not that I'm saying that whatever it is that's stacked against you isn't real. Holy shit, it's real. Just when that MRI hit the fucking little lighted box, that was real. You know what I mean? Actually, it did on a computer screen. But you might have problems with your, digestive system or some other ailment. I don't know. It's totally real. But are you going to let it stop you from being the best version of yourself? Just because we look online or out in front of the public eye and these people are like perfectly built and everything doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be better in wherever you're starting from. Just like, you know, if you were born in India in a poor country, of course I'm not saying your circumstances are the same as mine. That would be stupid. But I'm saying it doesn't help you to identify with those circumstances. You got to identify with what you want. That is the biggest part of life right there. Mm-hmm. Don't identify with all that shit that doesn't serve you. Stop it. It's fucking garbage. Throw it out. Identify with what you want and move forward. And whatever the story is, you know, I listen to a lot of Ed Milet. He talks about the RAS, the reticular activating system. Like when you start driving a white 4Runner, you just start seeing white 4Runners everywhere. And we've all been through that. Well, guess what? You can use that in your own
advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the word, because I've freaking lost it. You can use that. You can say, I am a fit person. That's who I am. And now everything you see will be, your brain always wants to prove itself right. So it's constantly looking for reasons why you are right. So if you think that you're a depressed fat person because your hormones are messed up, then guess what you're going to find? You're going to find all the reasons. I'll go read, and I've done this. I'll go look on the internet and see the medication I'm saying. Oh, there's other people who've said they're overweight because of this. Oh, therefore, everything that I think is correct. And I don't, oh, wait, it's not that I just ate a bag of Oreos, and we do this constantly until you're so depressed that you can't do anything else. Stop identifying with that crap.
For sure.
And you always find it and it hurts me. It hurts me so deeply to hear when people identify with stuff in your life. They made this story and they stopped, and it sucks so bad. Their story is, I am blank. Those are the two strongest words, right? I've said that before. And if you can't identify that and be self-aware on it, it's so dangerous, and it sucks.
And you're stuck in that victim mindset. And like before,
and it doesn't even have to be victim. It can be mediocrity mindset. It can just be anything. I think
being aware of the struggles that you go through is super important, but not letting that stop you, right, from doing anything that you want. I struggled with that back before I started my journey of like growth and awakening. Before 75 Hard was like when I initially started back in, I think, 21. But I used to live in that where I'm like, I would struggle really bad with depression. And I thought that wasn't a very common thing. And like, I was cursed with it, and like, why me? Why did I get hit with this depression stick, Me? And then I start going down the list of like all the things my parents should have done differently to prevent this from happening,
We've all done that.
And then starting my growth journey, I started realizing that I'm pretty sure every single person on this planet goes through depression, anxiety, but some of us aren't aware that they're dealing with it, and some of us have stronger tools in their toolbox, and it's different for everybody, right? Everyone has a different level. So I can only speak for myself, but I don't think that depression is a curse. I think it's part of being a human.
Me too, but we've tried to medicate it out. And that's fucked up, in my opinion. I'm no doctor. Don't follow me for medical advice. But we start to feel uncomfortable and we avoid it like the fucking plague on every aspect. And look what we're going to get, Man, that message is so important. And I'm not saying everyone needs to be fucking David Goggins and go run 150 miles, but do something, and like,
do something
like
challenging.
I have my brother, Chris, I just saw last week, he goes up on stage and like sings, and he can play guitar. And I've been watching him. I mean, he used to play guitar and sing in the fucking bedroom next to me, and he's always been so good at it, but I can tell he's been like working on it. And it's just so inspiring, and you can tell that it's so innate to him. Like he loves it so much. It literally, like, I was trying not to cry while he's playing because it's just so beautiful seeing another human push themselves and like, and for him, it's not running. Like he's never been like that guy. Neither have I really. I'm not saying he couldn't, but it's just whatever that is for you, just push, just find that thing and push out of your comfort zone. Whatever you've been thinking about you're like, maybe not for me, and you're him on it, just fucking do it. Just do it. sometimes sometimes life will make you do it. But it's way more fulfilling if you get to choose it. So that's my whole 75 hard battle, and just the momentum that it builds. Momentum's such a huge thing. Like, I'm not going to lie, right now it's 6:20 and I'm like fretting having to do my other workout because I did the one. I like to start early, but it's still, it's looming over your head, and then your brain starts to go, and we all do this. Like, okay, well, I could just quit now. I restart. I could get a couple days off. You could be comfortable. And like, it's just trying to find that comfort so heavily. God.
And just know one day off leads to 2 months.
Why? Why does it do this? I'm talking to myself here. Like, it's like every day I'm just like, oh, I'll just quit today, just for that one word. But then when you just keep doing it and just keep piling up those wins, man, there's no feeling like it. You could go buy the newest fucking, I don't know, Xbox or whatever gets your rocks off, your newest, whatever you could buy. It isn't even close. It doesn't even touch the surface on what that can do for you.
Yeah, I shared a post last night about that, about doing a really strenuous workout last night in like really hot yoga, cardio, intense.
Yeah, when you say yoga,
I know, but I kind of love it.
Hard,
I kind of love it, though.
But you're talking about like burpees and all that crap.
Yeah, it's fast paced. It's strength. It's
not like just stretching.
No, it's not a calm. It's loud music. You better keep up or you die.
Yeah, it's not just yoga.
It's at a yoga studio in a hot sauna room. But anyway, I didn't hydrate, and I ate like a couple hours before, so I still had food in my stomach. Anyway, I was starting to work out, so I was drinking a lot of water because I was really thirsty because I didn't hydrate in advance. And then, so I had sloshing around in my stomach. It was so hot, and there was 98, which is normally like 96. And I just got super dizzy and nauseous, and I had to walk out, and I never have to walk out. I walked out and like fought puking, But it's like, I so badly wanted to give up. I had 30 minutes to go. And I was like, fuck, I got to get through this, because I know.
Why do you have to get through it?
Because I know it's on the other side. That the feeling, the cathartic experience.
Really? That's the drive?
Uh-huh.
So for me, I told myself.
That's part of the feeling, though. Yeah. I did this really hard thing. I set the intention to come here and show up for myself. I stuck through it till the end, no matter how hard it was. And now I'm experiencing, that's a part of the feeling, right? When I'm laying there during Shavasana, like the final, like it's called like, what's it called? Corpse pose, when you're just laying there like dead, like you literally are dead. And like my pulse is just pounding through my entire body, and I can just feel it, and I'm just with myself. And like, I just did that. I just did that really hard thing. And there's all sorts of crazy chemicals rushing through your body, like endorphins and just all the good ones, right? The, what's it called? Dopamine, serotonin. Anyway, that's why I do it. And then obviously really good for your body,
Meanwhile, your brain craves going to buy a sleeve of Oreos and that cheap dopamine.
Rolling up on the couch. Cheap dopamine. Yeah, that's a good topic.
Oh yeah. Well, shoot, man, we went pretty deep on this podcast, and
moral of the story:
don't get a brain tumor. Just kidding. Not funny yet. But
it's okay to be transparent and vulnerable.
I kind of, gosh, I can't. Oh yeah, that's what I think. I'm looking up a book because we.
Oh yeah. Book recommendations.
So mine on this subject will be The Molecule of More. How I can't remember I'm going to find the thing here. Sorry. The Molecule of More, how a single chemical in your brain drives love, sex, and creativity and will determine the fate of the human race. I love this book. It's great. Also, The Comfort Crisis, which is also just a great book that explains a lot of what we're dealing with in society. And
then for me on the vulnerability topic, Brene Brown, if anyone's ever heard of her, she's got a handful of books. One that I read was called Braving the Wilderness. I read that one last year, and that one is really good. And she always talks about transparency and vulnerability in pretty much all of her books. A lot of leadership, empathy, but Braving the Wilderness was a good one. That a lot of good takeaways related to that.
Nice.
The power of sharing.
I love Brene Brown. She's a very good lead. I think she has a lot to say in my type of leadership where it's not. Yeah. Anywho, I would really appreciate if everyone could share our podcast. We kind of got a bunch of initial subscribers, and then it's kind of weaseled out. So I'm gonna shamelessly ask that everyone subscribe. But for that, even if you don't, I love you anyway, and I appreciate everyone who listens, and I'm sure Nicole does as well. But
nah.
Nice. I always like to start that music on a bad note, but like I said, like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Ralph's Crispy Crunchy Chicken. I'm gonna say it till it's so old that it just gets so annoying.
Lose subscribers.
Exactly. Unsubscribe. Either way, we're gonna keep doing it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you listening. Any questions, concerns, comments, reach out. My email is nick at... Just kidding, I'm not giving you my email. But you can message me on any social. And thank you.
Peace.